You're an introvert. You're an extrovert. You're shy. You're outgoing. Have any of these labels ever been put on you? Well, I've been called all of them, and I'm talking about it today. Stay tuned. Hi, and welcome to my channel. Thank you for being here. You know, I've spent many years of my life trying to figure out where I fit in. It was very confusing to me because I've been labeled shy, I've been labeled outgoing, I've been labeled introvert, extrovert, and even weird. And maybe I am weird, but that's okay with me. First of all, let me state right up front, I don't like labels. I don't want to be labeled, and I'm not going to label anyone else because we're all uniquely created and we have many uh, facets about ourselves. We're not just one dimensional. So it's hard for me to use these words, but for the purpose of this video, I'm going to have to. Many of you may have been labeled your whole life and you felt misunderstood. You didn't know where you fit in. You were too loud for the quiet people and too quiet for the loud people. You like to be around people, but you also like your alone time. You may have wondered if something was wrong with you. You may have felt different and you just couldn't figure out why. You may have even felt like you had to adjust who you truly are when you're with certain people. If you felt excited and they were a real quiet group, then you had to adjust yourself and be quiet, or vice versa. I wonder if everybody, or all of us, most of us out here, have felt like that, or maybe it's just me. I don't like to perform, I like to connect. I don't like shallow talk. I've talked about this a lot. I have to have meaningful talk. I can be very social in the right environment. People don't energize me, but things I love do. When I have passion about something, oh my goodness, I am all in 100%. I'll give you an example. I love to dance, talk about this all the time. If it's got a good beat and I'm playing my music, I am out there. Well, if I go to something where there's dancing and the first song plays, nobody gets up on the floor. Everybody just kind of sits back and hopes someone else will get up first because they don't want to be the first one. I'm not like that. I am the first one up on the floor. And if nobody else comes up to dance, I could care less because I don't see any of that. I am so into my zone and the joy and everything that I feel that nothing else enters my mind. I don't need a partner. I'll dance by myself. I don't need a drink. I don't drink. I don't need anything to loosen me up or, get rid of my inhibitions or anything like that. I have no inhibitions when it comes to dancing. So, in that respect, I guess you could say that's an extrovert or a person that's really outgoing. If I'm sitting with other people and they're talking about something I am not interested in at all, then I don't say anything. I'm not even present. I'm thinking about what I'm going to do when I get home or what I'm going to do the next day. I'm not engaged. I'm just totally shut down, I guess. And then people would think, well, boy, she's an introvert. Well, no, she isn't. She's not either one. She is a combination of many things. The one thing I've learned, I don't fit the mold. I don't fit the mold of any label. I can't force myself to be outgoing if I don't feel it, if it's not something that really lights me up. And I can't force myself to be quiet if I really have something to say. I've got to say it. That's all there is to it. I could stand up in front of 1,000 people and speak or say something if it really matters to me. I won't force myself to be outgoing, and I won't feel guilty for needing my space. I'm not difficult. I'm different, and I'm glad I'm different. Now, I wrote down a few notes that I'd like to go over to see if any of you relate, or maybe to give a more clear picture of our personalities or our behavioral traits. They're two different things. So I'm going to be referring to my notes. I wrote down, as far as an introvert goes, they're focused on internal thoughts and feelings rather than external things or social interaction. They want deep connections, they're reflective people, and they want one on one conversations. I definitely fall into that category. On the other hand, an extrovert is someone who's focused on external things or social interaction, characterized as outgoing. Expressive behavior, they're talkative, social, and warm. Well, again, I'm kind of in that description. I'm not focused on external things, but I can be very talkative just like the next person. And I feel like I'm a very warm person. They say that if you're an introvert, that you have a preference for quiet and minimal stimulation. They say you have a need to be alone to gain energy and recharge. Well, I can see where I kind of fall into that description, but not completely. Because again, I'm not just one way. There's a lot of parts to me and a lot of personality and behavioral traits that I have that just can't be put under one label. I thought this was very interesting because I used to think if you were an introvert or labeled introvert, then you were shy. And if you were labeled an extrovert, you were outgoing. That isn't true. Being an introvert does not equate to being shy. Introversion is a personality trait focused on energy management and recharging alone. I don't know about that one. I mean, I do recharge in my home, but I feel like it's because my home is my grounding zone. It's my place of peace. As I mentioned in my video last week about home is enough, I am a true homebody. I love being home. It doesn't have to be quiet here all the time. Sometimes it is. Other times I have my music blaring. I bet it shakes the walls of the neighbor's house. But that's because I'm passionate about that part in my life. Now, as far as shyness goes, shyness is a behavioral response rooted in social judgment. Shy people fear social interaction. That's not me, not at all. I do not fear other people's judgment. I could care less about other people's judgment. And I don't feel shy to interact with people at all. That doesn't bother me. I don't feel like, oh, I have nothing to say. And, I might say the wrong thing and all that. No, it's none of that. I'm just plain not interested in what they're talking about. You know, I don't like nonsense. I don't know where that comes into this whole picture of being shy or outgoing or introvert or extrovert. I cannot stand nonsense. I don't want to be around it. I don't care if you're loud or if you're quiet. I don't want to talk nonsense with anybody. Now, if you considered yourself an extrovert, well, you would think, oh, you're a really outgoing person. But they say that's not true. It's not exactly the same thing. Extroversion defines where you get your energy from, and that's social interaction. I don't. I don't get my energy from social interaction. I get my energy from what lights up my spirit, what I'm passionate about. Outgoing is a behavioral trait, being sociable or friendly. Well, I'd agree with that. I mean, I guess I'm outgoing because I can be very sociable and I am definitely friendly. I'm friendly to total strangers. Even if they're not friendly back to me, I'm still going to be friendly to them. Outgoing behavior indicates that you're confident and you're at ease in social situations. Again, I don't know if that's necessarily true. That doesn't really speak to me. I just don't consider that as being outgoing. I have a confidence in myself and I'm at ease in situations because I don't put myself in situations where I'm not going to be at ease. And no matter where I end up, any kind of situation, I'm going to be me. I'm not going to put up with anything. I'm not going to pretend or try to perform or be a certain way. That is not happening. Not to this girl and not at this stage in my life. So you see, many extroverts, if that's the word you want to use, or outgoing, those people can be shy also, shy in certain situations. And then the people that we would refer to as introverts or shy, they can be very outgoing when they feel comfortable. The world may perceive you as kind of a quiet, shy, introverted person. But you know what? When you're around your family, your kids, your grandparents, you're none of those things. You let loose. You fully become who you are. You can laugh and dance and do silly things and engage in all kind of conversations. I guess the bottom line is if you have felt out of place all your life and like you didn't fit in, there is nothing wrong with you. You're not broken. You're not antisocial. You're not a hermit stuck in a shell. You have balance, just like I do. We all have balance. God created all of us, each of us, unique. We are all unique. And there are so many parts of us. I feel like for myself, when something speaks to me, when the spirit of something hits me, one way or the other, that's how I'm going to be. I may be outgoing and out there one time, and I may be quiet and shy another. I don't feel like it's a personality flaw. I feel like I know who I am. I embrace all sides of myself, all sides of it. And I think the right side takes over when it needs to. Some of you may feel like you fit into a certain category, and that's it. You know that you're shy. You know that you're quiet. or you know that you're an introvert, and that's okay. We're all different. None of us are the same, and we weren't created to be the same. If you've lived your whole life feeling like you never really fit in, well, maybe the truth is you were never meant to be in a box. There's nothing wrong with you. You don't need to change your wiring to be a certain way. Accept who you are, embrace who you are, use it to your advantage. Give yourself what you need. That would be my message to everybody, and it's definitely my message to myself. Again, I've been called all the labels, and I don't buy into any of them because I know who I am. I'm at peace with who I am. I give myself what I need. I'm comfortable with how I feel in certain situations. If I need to be, quiet and by myself, then by darn, I will be by myself. And if I feel the need to really bust loose with something, whether it be at a dance or I have something to say, I'm going to bust loose and I'm going to say it. So I would love to know how you view yourself. Can you put yourself in a box? Can you say, I am this or I am that? And that's what I am, and that's what I've been all my life, and that's what I am no matter what situation I am in. All I can tell you is I can't. I cannot fit into a box. But I'm not saying that nobody can. So I would just love to know where you're coming from, how you see yourself. Please share that in the comments. Now we're going to move on to an inside beauty tip. My inside beauty tip comes from Psalm 139:14. I praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Wonderful are your works, for my soul knows it very well. I think that is a scripture that we all need to imprint into our heart at all times because it's going to erase the doubts, the insecurities, the wondering, who are you and why are you like this or that? None of that really matters. We are all a divine craftsmanship made by God individually. We are all created by God with incredible, intricate detail. We have our own divine fingerprint. I think if we learn to accept who we are, no matter if you're this way or that way, or weird, like I've been called, that's okay. I'll be weird because that's a part of me that God created. His work is purposeful and meaningful, and we are created individually, and we are all valued. Don't beat yourself up or feel like you have a problem. There's something wrong with you. You wish you were this way, but you're that way. Maybe you're all the ways like I am. The bottom line is you were created by an awesome God who loves you. And all you need to know is you are a child of God with all your uniqueness, with all your quirks, with all your traits. You are very special, and don't let anyone ever tell you that you're not. I thank you so much for being here today. I truly do appreciate it. And until we meet again, this is the old girl signing out. See ya.